Mining is the backbone of Star Citizen's economy, or at least it's supposed to be. For many players, it's the reason they log in. For others, it's the profession they swear they'll never touch again after losing a hold of Quantanium in the last 30 seconds of flight. But as we move closer to 1.0, what does the road look like for miners? Today we're going to be diving into where mining started, where it's at today, and what the community says needs fixing and what CIG has planned for the future. Because if you ask miners, the loop has been both the most rewarding and the most frustrating part of Star Citizen so far. When mining first entered the verse back in Alpha 3.2, it was a breath of fresh air, finally a non-combat profession. The Prospector was sleek, functional, and gave us something new to do besides bounty hunting or hauling boxes. Hand mining in caves was the other entry point. It was glamorous and it was the first time players could pick up a tool, crack open a mineral, and walk away with something valuable. Now if you talk to anyone in the community about those days, you'll hear two main takes. Some say it was the golden era of mining, simple, profitable, no waiting for refineries, just rock, sell, repeat. Others will also tell you that it was the most boring grind in the game and that the highlight of mining was watching your prospector explode because you weren't paying attention to the fracture meter. Either way, those days were important because mining was the first profession that made Star Citizen feel like more than a combat sandbox. The mole changed everything. Suddenly mining was multiplayer. Crews had roles, ships needed escorts, and for the first time you had real teamwork. Everyone loved it, at least the players who had friends to fly with, or that were able to link up with other players in the verse. But solo miners sometimes saw it as an expensive prospector with more seats. And then came Quantanium, and oh boy did everyone have opinions. For some it was a game changer though, because mining finally had risk versus reward. But for others it was just stress in a box. Players joked that Quantanium was like babysitting a ticking bomb on your ship. One Redditor even described it as the only profession where your profit margin is measured in how loudly your friends scream when the timer hits 30 seconds. Refining added another layer too. Suddenly you couldn't just dump raw ore, you had to make choices, different processes, different yields. Some players loved the strategy, others they hated waiting 12 hours just to get their ore back, and the classic complaint was logging in to find the refinery terminal had bugged and eaten their entire haul, which sadly happened to me so many times. So after that trip down memory lane, let's fast forward to today. I want to say that mining is still one of Star Citizen's most fleshed out professions. You got multiplayer ships, different entry points, and a risk profile that keeps things interesting. But as usual, there is a mixed bag on this. Some miners will tell you that it's the most satisfying loop in the game, steady credits, skill-based gameplay, and plenty of ways to scale up. Others will tell you that mining is stale, that it's just laser, fracture, repeat with no real depth. And then you have the players who say the real mining experience isn't in the rocks, it's in babysitting refinery, timers, and dealing with bugs. Now hear me out on this one. Distribution centers are another sore spot. They were teased as hubs for selling and refining, but right now they feel half-baked. And the economy? Well, we have been begging for years for mining to matter beyond just credits. Right now the ore you mine doesn't fuel shipbuilding, doesn't support the war efforts. It just vanishes into the void after you sell it. If you ask miners what needs to be fixed before 1.0, the answers are almost universal. First off, the economy. Players want mining to actually feed into something. Let whatever we mine drive crafting, shipbuilding, outpost construction, anything beyond disappearing into a credit faucet. The other one is refining gameplay. Right now it's just a waiting room. The community wants actual gameplay, engineering roles, maintenance, maybe even crew interactions that affect efficiency. Now this one right here is a can of worms, risk and reward. Pirates aren't a systematic threat yet. Escorts don't feel necessary, and stealth mechanics are underdeveloped. Miners, and I think I can speak for everyone, or most, want mining runs to feel like expeditions where logistics, escorts, and planning actually matter. And another one that I see that gets brought up a lot is variety. The community has begged for years for gas mining, ice harvesting, asteroid mining with hazards, even ships salvage style minigames for extracting rare materials. Right now, it's all just different flavors of point laser at rock. And there's the thing, most miners aren't asking for everything to be perfect now. They just want progress. They want to see the loop tied into the bigger game, not left floating in a bubble. Good news, CIG has teased plenty. The resource system should finally give mine materials a purpose, tying them into ship engineering and crafting. The dynamic economy update is supposed to make the resources actually matter. Prices that shift, demand spikes, shortages that miners can respond to. And of course the Orion, the holy grail of mining ships. The community has been drooling over this beast for years. It's a mobile refinery, a capital class mining platform, and a supposed endgame for industrialists. There's also talk of gas mining, better refining mechanics, and full economy integration. But I will take those with a grain of salt, so that when you mine, you're not just padding your wallet, you're literally fueling the verse. So what's the road for 1.0 for miners? We've gone from breaking tiny rocks in caves to refining volatile ore worth millions. We've seen the profession grow, stumble, and evolve, all while the community has carried it with patience and a fair amount of salt. The truth is, mining might be the best preview we have of what Star Citizen wants to be. It's not perfect, it's not complete, but it shows us a profession that could one day feel alive, connected, and essential. Think about it, if CIG pulls it off, miners won't just be rockbusters, they'll be the foundation of the entire Star Citizen economy. So let me know in the comments, what's your take on this? Do you love mining, hate it, or are you just here waiting for the Orion to arrive? Thanks for watching, and as always, fly safe or die trying. Captain Zerhaze out.